Hello, beauties, and thank you for being here. I'm very excited to guide this Blue Lotus journey online. And obviously, because it's online, there is only so much we can do, but I'm still super, super excited. First of all, to tell you more about the plant, but also, second of all, to guide you through a beautiful meditation. I've originally said that it's going to be around 2 hours, but that's just an average. When we work with plants, we never know how long it takes. Yeah, welcome for those that made it on the call live. I'm super excited. And for everyone that has signed up and will watch the replay, feel free to ask your questions in the comments or write me an email. And feel free to reach out if there is anything that you would like to have more details around. And if you're on the call live, you can write in the chat and I will read it and answer the questions that you are having. So first of all, I invite you to make it comfortable for you. So maybe find a comfortable place you can sit and listen for a moment. Maybe see that you have some kind of water nearby. If you do already have Blue Lotus in your house, maybe you have prepared a tea or something like that, feel free to drink that and sip that while I talk about the Blue Lotus, because today here the idea is that we can journey with the plant without having to specifically take the plant, without specifically having to consume the plant, like just the plant being in a space. And here, what we have created is a space, right? So this is a space where our meeting, even though it's online, doesn't matter. Time and space doesn't matter. And the Blue Lotus as a plant is invited in this space. So even without you having consumed the plant or even having it in your hands, this can work. How beautiful is that? I have the plant here with me and I will show it to you in a second so you get to see. Maybe you have never seen the plant. And I also will show you what I usually work with so you get a little bit of an idea. Yeah. Beautiful. I've talked so much about the plant, I completely forgot to introduce myself, which is probably also important. And you would like to know who's actually sitting here and why should I listen to this woman? So my name is Jennifer Nadia. I'm a self-employed business owner. My business is called Jennifer Nadia. How decent and how creative, right? I'm coaching one-on-one. I'm a sex empowerment and love coach. And apart from that, I guide embodiment journeys and plant. I work closely with plant and I guide plant journeys. And I also implement a lot of energy work into everything that I do. And I create a women's festival in Switzerland. So there's quite a lot of different things. I'm also an absolute crochet nerd. That's maybe a fact that might be a bit different. And yeah, I didn't know about me or didn't guess. I actually am not wearing right now anything that is made by myself. Um, but that doesn't matter. Yeah. So I'm based in Switzerland. I travel around a lot in Europe and visit different cities. So I'm not continuously in Switzerland. And because the work I do allows me to travel, and I think the more I do it, it will create even this bigger space for me to really live where I want to live or move around how I desire to move around, which I think is what satisfies my soul the most. Yeah. So, why did I choose to work with this plant? And I really would like to show you the Blue Lotus now. I'll hold it in front of the camera so you get to see. It's a bit difficult with this, no. So this is Blue Lotus in its dried form. Obviously, I don't have a fresh one here because it doesn't naturally grow where I live. But the dried one is very beautiful as well. And obviously the smell is divine. I'm just going to put it here so you see it and I don't have to hold it all the time. And I might look at it while I talk about it. So this is the Blue Lotus flower. So Blue Lotus grows in water. It's like all lotus flowers obviously do. It grows in the water. So you can imagine the roots and the seed is like in the deepest mud underneath the water. She spreads her roots deeply underneath the earth in this very nutritious and like slimy mud. And then her stem is growing through the water, up through the water until it goes to the water surface. And there she's coming out, the leaves first, and then the flower. And the flower only blooms for 3 days. So we have this beautiful flower or plant that actually connects the element of the earth with the water, with the element of air and fire, because she opens her head up towards the air and towards the sun. Right, so we have a lot we can learn from plants if we observe how they grow. So that is always important because Blue Lotus will do the same in our body or similar. She partially helps us to ground. So she calms down our nervous system and gives us this grounding feeling. So that's just a very soft grounding. There's other plants that give you way more grounding, but Blue Lotus is like gives you this soft grounding. So what happens is like, oh, we can like sink down, right? And through this sinking down and putting our roots in, we get this stability where our spine can start elongating, can start growing. We start growing. And through this, you can imagine our blossom is here, the third eye. Our third eye can grow like a lotus flower. It can grow up, and the crown as well. The third eye and the crown. It can grow and come up. And we get to experience these beautiful visions. And these visions, it might not be the thing that is as strong for everyone, and that's completely fine. We all have different abilities, and I think it's very important that we're always true to that and not try and limit ourselves. So Blue Lotus works on the third eye, which also is the dream space. She works on the dream space. So it's a beautiful, beautiful flower to connect with before we go to sleep, because it helps to create lucid dreams. Lucid dreams is a state where we are conscious that we are dreaming. So we know in our dream that we are dreaming, and therefore we can start choosing and interacting with our environment. We can either choose that a door appears, that we can fly, that we can transport to another place, we can invite a person in, or we can start talking to the people around us. So we actually start interacting with our subconsciousness, right? So Blue Lotus supports that, and she just helps in general to make the dreams more vivid, more clear, and maybe even that we remember it more. And that's another important thing. We're not all dreaming the same way. For some of us, dreams happen more in our body or in our emotional being. So we might wake up with clarity. We might wake up with realizing that certain emotions we have worked through, and it just feels like this clarity around it. We just feel like something is released. We don't even know what it was, but we just feel something has released. So she can support that. I mean, that's how beautiful is that? A plant you can connect with that works for you, with you, in your body, in your dream state, so that you find healing, so you find solutions, so you find like this soft surrender into, oh, that's what it was. So that's one part, and I already talked about the visions. So she can, for people that are already very visual, the visual visions will become more vivid. And this is something we can just practice now, like for a moment, just close your eyes, just for a short moment. Just everyone close your eyes and take a few deep breaths in. It's always important that we go back to the breathing, because we often forget to breathe deeply, especially when we're taking in a lot of information and in our busy days. We forget to breathe deeply. And that actually calms down our nervous system, which is also important to connect with plants. So just take a few inhales and like really deeply feel, maybe even put a hand on your lower belly and feel that you are breathing directly into your lower belly. And then I invite you to imagine in front of your mind's eyes. Let's just invite you to imagine a red rose growing on a green meadow, the wind blowing and the petals of the red rose softly swaying in the wind and opening and closing. And then you see a bee landing on the rose, buzzing. And maybe you can even smell that. What would the rose smell? And what would this bee sound like? And the wind that you see. Just take that in for one more breath. Beautiful. And then come back and open your eyes. So this is just a very, very small example, an exercise to see how are your abilities with like visions. Are you more prone to see the image? Are you more prone to hear it, to feel it, to smell it, or all of them? And all of that is as equally valid, by the way. I just wanted to give you that little exercise. And I see saying that this is what it would be like, and it's not as easy for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. We are all here to practice. So see this as a practice today, just a beautiful practice that where you can connect deeper with yourself, deeper with the plant, and deeper with just these abilities and beautiful things that are out there for us to experience. Yeah, so I've talked, just checking if there are any questions here. But I think we're good to go. Otherwise, keep on asking your questions. Beautiful. So I've talked a little bit about how Blue Lotus grows, and probably what is also very interesting for you to know is where does she grow? So Blue Lotus is a flower that has been cultivated and worked with in ancient Egypt. And in my opinion, I haven't found proof yet for that, but in my opinion, she was also, people also worked with her in other ancient cultures and cultivated her. They knew about her power and her direct connection to our visions, and for me, for the higher consciousness and the higher wisdom. So in ancient Egypt, the Blue Lotus used to grow on the Nile, and people, one way of working with her was to soak Blue Lotus in wine, and then after a couple of weeks, 6 or 8 weeks, you would drain that and then you would drink the wine, and that gives you a more, together with the alcohol and the wine, it gives you a bit more an euphoric way to connect with others around us. And it also works as an aphrodisiac, by the way. But those are other attributes of Blue Lotus that are also very important. But right now, here in this space, this is not what we're working with. It doesn't say that this is not what happens or you would experience. But the intention in the room here is to connect in a meditation with the higher consciousness, in with the vision, and get a message, like some wisdom, some message that you desire to hear right now. So that was one way how they work with Blue Lotus. And another way that I just recently got confirmed was that priester and priestesses used to drink or work with Blue Lotus to go into deep trance meditations to connect with this higher wisdom. So this is kind of what we're doing here, but just in a small format, obviously. In my live Blue Lotus ceremonies, it's a 4-hour journey that we're doing with a lot of information, and we're also working with cacao. So this here is just a little bit of an insight and like a gift for all of the people that have asked me about Blue Lotus and my workshops, but couldn't yet come because they usually happen in Europe or in Switzerland and Berlin, by the way. So we have this, and we have another beautiful thing about Blue Lotus. So what's very interesting is that we can link the flowers and the plants to a planet. So if we work astrologically, which I am, I find it highly fascinating. Blue Lotus is linked first and foremost with the moon. And secondly, so it's the intuition, the dream space. And secondly, also with Venus, which would be the euphoric and aphrodisiac part. So with the element Cancer, The moon is the Cancer, like the star sign, and Cancer is also water. So we have water, Cancer, and the moon that are linked with Blue Lotus, especially with the way that we're working here. So that always has an impact as well. So the flower works on our water in our body. So water is also the emotions, and like making us feel alive again. And like I often feel this flowy feeling when I connect with Blue Lotus. I just feel like good in my body and soft, and this is also what is very important when we go into this meditation, because when we start feeling soft in our body and like this flowy movement, that also has a impact on ourselves being able to drop deeper into a meditation. So maybe just for a moment here, there was a lot of information. Just for a very short moment, you can close your eyes again and just take in what you have heard. You're always invited in my space to just leave everything behind that wasn't of interest right now. Everything that you're like, it hasn't have anything to do with me, or you find it hard to concentrate on it or to remember it, just let it go. And whatever stays, that's what is important for you right now. So we're starting to trust that we don't need to remember everything. Sometimes it's okay to leave our minds, take a few steps back, and we're just here to see what is alive and what do we need right now in this moment. So just take a few breaths. It's always important to come back to closing our eyes and to connecting back to our bodies. Beautiful. So I want to share a little bit on the ways I work with Blue Lotus, and if I have any more information about the plant, I'm more than happy to share that. Also, feel free to ask your questions either now or later, and I can answer that more clearly. So my journey with Blue Lotus, which is actually probably the most important, and this is also the journey on how I work with her and the way I connect with her. So my journey with Blue Lotus started a couple of years ago, where I encountered her in a deep meditation. I ordered her tea and I was guided in a deep meditation, and I was surprised how the journey went, like what images I saw. I was immediately in ancient Egypt. I saw Isis, wings started growing. I walked through a portal of like figures that I've never seen before, of gods or goddesses that I've never seen before. And I was like, wow, what a powerful, magical plant that is. And then I started experimenting a lot by myself, just which I also think is very important. When we start working with a plant, we go on this beautiful journey where we start learning what is the right way for me to work with this plant. What works, what doesn't work, how does it feel if I take a few drops or a tea before sleeping? How does it feel if I do that when I go outside and meet people? How does it feel if I go into a deep meditation? Things like that. There's many things. Creativity as well. How does it work if I want to do a creative project? How does it work when I want to work? Things like that. So I've experimented a lot with the tea, and I was always amazed, but I had this feeling there is more to this plant. And there is nothing wrong about the tea, by the way. And the one tip I can give you here about the tea is, because it's a flower, flowers are delicate. Always first, if you boil the water, let it cool down quite a bit, and then you put the leaves in, like the flower petals, because otherwise it's too strong. What you can always also very beautifully do with Blue Lotus is a cold water brew. So you soak the flower in cold water for like a night, and then the next morning you drink that, which is also very beautiful. If you work with a dry flower and you put it in water, it opens up again, right? And it becomes like the proper flower. Obviously not it doesn't grow up, it grows just like that. But it's very beautiful to see it. And now I'm also a big fan of eating the different parts of the flower because I think they taste really nice. And that's also interesting is the tea doesn't smell, even though the smell of the flower is very, very soft and beautiful and strong, the taste can be a bit intense on the tongue, which is the same with rose, by the way. It does like this tingly feeling, which is nothing bad about it. But it's just an interesting thing. So I realized that tea is super beautiful, but there is more that the plant can do. I went researching. What I eventually found was a spagyric. It's this one from Enki. I don't know if you know what a spagyric is, but basically we have different ways of how we can drink or consume plants. So there's the way where we can just either eat the fresh leaves or dry the leaves and make tea from either. So we work with the body of the plant. And then we can make a tincture, which is a very ancient way of preserving plants, which is you soak the plants mainly in alcohol for 6 to 8 weeks. And the alcohol absorbs the energy and the fragrancy and the power of the plant. And then you train it, and then you have the tincture, which is, it doesn't go up, right? And the spagyric is the same procedure than a tincture, but apart from that, you're also separating it, you're burning the leaves, you're putting it back together, you're letting this whole thing through the distillation process, and it comes back down. So it evaporates and it becomes fog, and then it becomes clear. So you actually, so a tincture has the body and the spirit, and a spagyric has the body, the spirit, and the soul of the plant. And so you have the earth soul and also the universal soul because of it evaporating and coming back down. So you actually have the highest potency a plant can have. This is an alchemical process that is often got forgotten, or it's very rare that people still work like that, but lucky I know a few people, and I think it's gonna pick up again because it's quite an intense process. It's a lot of work that is behind it, but I think it's so important to work this way. And what is also important when you work with plants and astrologically is like to work with the plants on the days of the week where that are linked to this planet. So we have the moon, like I said, with Blue Lotus, which would be Monday. Monday is the moon day. So it's beautiful to work with Blue Lotus on a Monday. That's why I have scheduled in this Blue Lotus journey on a Monday. And I also like to work with Blue Lotus on a Friday, but then there is more the sensual energy, which I think is also very perfect and beautiful. There's nothing wrong about that. Yeah, so we have this form of spagyric that I love to work because it's a bit more powerful and strong and brings you even deeper into this meditation form. So feel free to reach out to me, especially if you're in Europe, because delivery fees will be so insanely high if you try to import one bottle from Australia. And I get it from Australia, by the way, because it also grows naturally there. In Egypt at the moment, it doesn't grow natural anymore because the Nile has become toxic and it doesn't grow. So I think it will come back. There is this saying in ancient Egypt that if the Blue Lotus comes back on the Nile, then it's time for a higher consciousness to land on Earth. So her desire is for us to connect to this higher consciousness already now and bring it down. So we're individual people. For each of us, it's going to be different, but we're all on a mission to bring a higher consciousness, a higher wisdom down that we all have access to, but we've forgotten. So it grows naturally in Australia. So the delivery fee will be way too high. If you're in Europe, reach out to me and I can deliver it to you. If you're in the EU, I'm often in Berlin, I can send it and there will be no taxes and nothing involved. So reach out to me. Another way that I like working with the plant is with the oil. Obviously, don't see anything here. It's just a lot of working with it on the nose and the smell, which is also important for me when working with plants. I've shared it in the beginning and I'd like to share it now again. It's like we work with the eyes, we work with the nose, we work with the mouth, we work with our skin. There's this thing of like, I can smell it, right? I can touch it, I can look at it, and I can also eat it. So we have all of the different ways to working with it. So what I like doing in my space and what I've done already also right now is I have, I don't know what they're called, like an evaporator, something that makes like fog and you put essential oils in it. So I have that going, and I have put Blue Lotus drops in it. So the smell and frequency of Blue Lotus is in the room. And that's also what I do when I guide Blue Lotus ceremonies. So people, once they step inside the room, they already smell and connect with the plant. And usually they're like, wow, what is that smell? That's the reaction we want. So, and I also use it as a perfume, by the way, which I think is very beautiful. Can connect us deeper to this sensual part, and also like to calm down. It has the same effect basically I've already shared before. So those are a few of the examples I like to work with the plant. I don't think there is another way. No, that's it. I have shared once more a lot of things here. Are there any questions? No, seems like you're good to go. Great. Thank you for being here and thank you for listening. So let's close our eyes again for a bit. We've listened again for 10 minutes, and I think it's important. And you already know it. So just take a few breaths. Like if you want to, you can put one hand on your lower belly and just take a few inhales. Beautiful. And let's come back to the space. So I feel like I've spoken so much, I've shared so much information, and it's a beautiful way of how to connect with a plant and get like a little bit of our mind satisfied. But for me, it's always important that we also work with the body, and nothing more beautiful than work with a plant and the body than in a meditation. So what I would actually, because there's no questions, maybe the whole journey will be a little bit less than 2 hours, but that's fine. I would actually start inviting you to settle yourself down. So, this is a very beautiful meditation that you can take lying down. But if you're prone of falling asleep very quickly, and it's not the right time for you to fall asleep right now because it's maybe too early, you can also do the meditation as sitting position. And if you want to lie down, but you don't want to fall asleep, what really is helpful is if you put your feet on the ground and your knees up. So that way you can't really drift off that deeply. So maybe just make yourself comfortable in the next 1 or 2 minutes. Like it's like I always like to say, it's like building a nest. What do you need? Pillows, blankets? Do you need to change the space? It's also You also don't need to watch the screen right now. It's actually way more important to let the screen go, because the screen and electricity, electronics, it just distracts us. So you just need to be able to hear my voice. So just wherever you are, I give you like around a minute time to settle yourself in. Once you have settled in, if you are already ready, I invite you to start looking around your room first before we close our eyes, and just start noticing maybe different colors, forms, and textures you can see around you. It's not that you need to stay with anything particular for a long time, but it's more like moving and watching, not lingering with anything, not getting lost in thoughts, but more What do you see? And if you are comfortable, maybe start closing your eyes and we start focusing on another sense. What can you hear apart from my voice? And I'm going to be quiet here for a bit so you can really listen to the sounds you can hear in your proximity. Also, here, don't try and stay with any particular sound. We just move, just listen. You don't have to get caught up in it, but just listen. And then also let that go, and we're focusing on another sense, the sense of smell. Maybe that's a tough one because often when we have been in a space for a while, we actually don't really smell our surroundings anymore. I just invite you to, if you can, like what smell is there in the space you are in? And then also let that go and we go into the sensations and the feeling. Like, first of all, what emotions are present with you right now? Also, with that, we try not to stay with it, where we just feel it, just become conscious of it, and then we let it go again. What, how do you feel right now? And maybe what do you feel on your body? Maybe there is the clothes you can feel. Maybe it's where you're lying on. Maybe you're cold or warm. What sensations can you feel on your body? And then we also let that go. And I invite you just to notice right now, how does your body feel? And maybe when you tune into your body, there is some kind of movement the body still desires before we go deeper into the meditation. Maybe you need to change the position. Maybe you just need to stretch one more time. Really allowing the body to feel as comfortable as is possible in this moment. Once you have that, also let that go and we start focusing on our breathing. So I invite you to start taking deep breaths in. If you want to, you can also put a hand on your lower belly, if that helps. Otherwise, you just imagine. Just start inhaling like deeply into the lower belly. And I invite you just to start slowing down the breathing as much as is comfortable. You're just imagining that on every exhale, you're really cherishing every second of the exhale. And on the inhale, you start slowing down as well, having like a second by second by second of the inhale. Just as slow as still feels comfortable for you. And you're feeling that you can let go a little bit more on every exhale. And a tiny bit more. You can even feel maybe the ground that you're sitting or lying on. The ground is holding you. The ground always symbolizes the earth. So on every exhale, you can let go a tiny bit more into the earth, knowing that you are fully safe to surrender into the earth. The earth is here to hold you, support you, to guide you. Simply here for you. Can you surrender a tiny bit more into that? And a tiny bit more. Really letting go all the tension in your body. You can just let go of that right now. All the emotions that are not serving you. All the thoughts that are not needed right now. You can just let them go. And feel that they are sinking into the earth beneath you. The earth is like glad to hold on to them for you for right now. It feels like this shedding of things that are not needed for this journey right now. Things that are maybe also not needed at all anymore. So just allow this to happen, this surrender, this shedding, this letting go. And then you imagine in your mind's eye, or maybe you also feel it. You just imagine that you are softly and slowly waking up without opening your eyes in this reality. You are waking up some kind of metal. Maybe you can feel the grass beneath you, maybe on your bare skin, or maybe on your bare feet. Maybe you can hear some sounds in the distance, some birds chirping, or maybe there's different sounds. For a moment, just lie there on this meadow and take in as much as you can. What does it feel like to be there? What does this place feel like? How does your body feel right now? What sounds can you hear? What smells can you smell? And maybe if you open your eyes, what colors do you see? What forms, objects, plants? What is there with you? And maybe where are you? You can slowly, in this place, on this meadow, make your way to a standing position. Still feeling the grass beneath you, still seeing everything that is around you, but knowing that you are guided right now to walk. You know where it's going, just trust where your feet will carry you. And I invite you really to take in everything that is around you with every step that you take. So often we get so focused on a goal where we want to go, we forget that the present moment counts as well. We don't know where we're going yet, so you don't know that. Just cherish every moment in this strange land that you're in. Feeling the grass beneath you, hearing the sounds, seeing the colors. And you slowly start seeing that there is some kind of being waiting for you in the distance, exactly in the direction you were walking. Maybe it's not yet very clear what it is. Maybe it's just a form you see. But the closer you get, the being starts becoming more clear. The animal that is waiting for you starts taking on form. You're getting closer and closer until you're standing right in front of that animal. Take it all in. Connect with this animal first through your eyes. No words need to be spoken. Nothing needs to be exchanged, but it's just this connection through the eyes. You staring at it staring at you. Realizing that there is so much in the eyes, so much that we can see and understand, and really get this feeling that this animal is just here for you. It has been waiting for you, and it's ready and very excited for you to be here because it has something that it wants to show you, some messages it wants to give. But right now, you're just connecting with it through the eyes. And maybe the animal allows you to touch it, but really feel, does that feel right? Really check in with the animal. You know that through the eyes a lot can be communicated, and feel it in your body. Are you okay to touch it? Because sometimes through the touch, we get a deeper information about something. We realize a little bit more about the importance of why something is there, of why this animal has been waiting for you. And then, without sharing any words with you, this animal starts walking away from you. And you know that you are being guided to follow. No words are spoken yet. No information has been shared except that which we felt. You know that you gotta follow this animal, that it will take you to a very special place that will hold some important information for you. And once more, I invite you to enjoy the journey as much as the goal. Enjoy this feeling of being guided, of not being alone, and not having to choose to do everything alone. You have some support. Feel this calming effect this landscape has on you. Feeling of nature all around you, your feet on the ground. The sounds you can hear. And you're walking further and further. No end is in sight yet, but this journey is as important. It is for you to realize that the present moment counts. It is for you to realize the simplicity of life, how easy it can all be. If you just simply choose it to be this way, we can create our reality. And it's all slowing down now. The animal starts walking slower because it realizes, and you realize that this is what is needed. Often we hurry and stress so much in our life that we forget the importance of the slowing down. And just when you start slowing down as well and like really coming to a near standstill, while still moving a tiny bit every step, every second, or every so often. You see that the slower you get, the more something starts to form and shape in front of you. It is not yet very clear what it is, but it's clear that if you would speed up, it will vanish again. But that this slowing down is really important. Your animal knows that, and that's why you're being guided to do that, to follow it, follow this. And you allow yourself to become even slower. Really move in slow motion. Allow your heartbeat to drop. Breathing to become even more soft and gentle. And start noticing this place that starts forming in front of you. Very softly. Allow this to unfold in whatever time it needs, while you concentrate on slowing down. And then take it in. What has been forming in front of you? What is this place you have been guided to? And this will be very individual for each and every one. It will be different. So what does this place represent for you? And maybe even come to a full-on standstill now, really taking it in, seeing it, feeling it, smelling it, hearing it, knowing that this is where you will receive a very important lesson and message right now, whenever you're ready. But for now, it's important that you take this moment to just observe. As through observing, things can become clear. As through observing, we get a little bit closer to the truth. And whenever you feel ready, connect with your animal again, because there is something that you need to let go of before you can step into this place. There is something that you need to shed, and you know exactly what that is. Be it an emotion, a person, a thought, a limiting belief, whatever it is. Just feel this, connect with this. And feel maybe the sadness that comes with letting go of something like this, because we often hold on to emotions, thoughts, and people, even though we know they don't serve us any longer, but we hold on to them because we care, because a part of us feels attached to it. So that part might be grieving, and grieving is okay and beautiful. So let this part grieve. Let feel the emotion, let the emotions be there. But knowing that it will serve you, much more on your path if you let it go. But for a moment, just feel everything that is present. And feel this readiness to let that go. If you need help from the animal, let the animal help you, because sometimes letting go can be tough. And just feel that whatever you're letting go of, you're forming it. It forms into in your hands into a stone, this beautiful, beautiful stone that shimmers in any color, even maybe glitter, whatever it is for you. Because things that we need to let go of, they can be still be very beautiful to look at. And just hold that for a moment in your hands. Like also feeling the gratitude towards that, because it has served you for a long time. It has been part of your life. It has served you in some way or another, even though it might not have felt like it. It has served you and it has had a purpose. So it's beautiful to show gratitude, to be grateful about it and say thank you for whatever it taught you. And then you can let that stone go. Just put it somewhere in this beautiful place, knowing that it will be there and will wait for you if you want to come back and give it some more gratitude later on. But it can rest there now. That's its space. It doesn't need to be with you any longer. You are ready to let it go. Just put it there and feel the animal supporting you, cheering you on for doing that, because those are really, really powerful processes to do. They can be scary at times. Gaze once more at that beautiful stone with this beautiful color. Before you turn your eyes once more towards that place, that individual place that has formed in front of you, once you got slower. And feel this readiness within your body that you are ready now to step into this place. The animal's gonna be with you. And even though there is maybe not a visible border, it is like stepping through a portal, because it will change. It changes already your readiness for it, the readiness to go on this path, to explore more about yourself. That is already the biggest step we can take. So maybe take a big inhale here. And together with this animal right next to you, step over this border, through this portal, from one place to another, and step into this place that has formed in front of you. And even when your first step lands, you already feel a shift of the energy. You feel a shift in the air around you. You feel like there is something else here. This is more powerful than the place you have been in before. Not invalidating the place you've been in before, but this is more powerful. This is where you will learn your lesson. This is where you will get the exact wisdom which you need to hear right now. Just take a moment to arrive and to feel and to look around. What is there? What is welcoming you? What colors do you see? What forms are there? Plants growing? Is there anything else that you can notice? And feel yourself being guided to some kind of rock. Maybe it's the animal guiding you, maybe it's you knowing directly where you need to go. And even though this rock might appear quite plain in the beginning, the closer you get, the more it starts glowing in some kind of light, whatever color that is. There is a light coming up from that rock, and you realize that this rock is way more powerful than you would have thought. And this is your own personal rock of wisdom. This is a place that you can access even after this meditation. You can come back to it in your own time and space. But this rock will gift you with some kind of information that you are ready to hear right now. And maybe this rock will be quite different how it transmits this information. Maybe through touching it, you just know it. Maybe you hear the rock whispering and sharing. Maybe you receive images. Maybe there is another way how this rock communicates. So you feel this readiness to touch it, and you also feel that the rock is like inviting you, and the animals supporting you in this too. So start connecting through your touch with the rock, knowing exactly where you need to place your hands. And then just feel the transmission happening, the information landing, be it through hearing, seeing, feeling, just knowing it. And just allow this to happen, however long it takes. Maybe there is a second message, a new transmission happening. Take it all in. What is it that you're receiving right now? What is it that you get to learn about yourself, about your purpose, your duty, whatever you're ready to hear right now? And then you slowly realize and notice that it's going towards the end. The rock has shared its message with you today. For now, it is okay. You have learned all there is to learn. You turn away from this rock and you're being guided by your animal out of this place again. From now on, you will know how to connect with this place. You will know how to connect with the rock again. And now it's okay to leave it behind. Go back to the place you have been before, to this meadow or wherever you ended up. And it's time for you to go back. The animal is guiding you to where the journey started, the place you woke up on the meadow. And it's taking you on this path. And no matter how long that takes, maybe you can linger with the message you've learned. Maybe you can start observing what you see, hear, smell in this space again. And you end up at that place. And before you start lying down, I invite you to show your gratitude towards your animal, towards this beautiful, beautiful animal that has guided you so well today. And then see and notice that this animal is gifting you with something that reminds you of your power and your duty in this world. No matter what it is, take that symbol, take that object, and hold it very dearly in your heart, knowing that you can connect back with this animal. But for today, it's okay. You have this object, you have been guided. Show your gratitude once more. Maybe give it a hug if the animal allows it and it feels right for you. Before you let go and start down, the animal is going to wait with you. It's going to guide you back out. It's just going to be witnessing. And you just start laying down and closing your eyes in this place where you're at now. You feel the grass beneath you. You hear the sounds. And you slowly start feeling how the ground beneath you starts transforming back to the place where you started your journey, the place in this reality, no matter where you're sitting or lying, be it a bed, the ground, or a chair. You're starting to feel that this surface is beneath you again. That's the ground beneath you. You no longer feel the meadow, but you feel the room that you're in. You can hear the sounds in your room. You can smell the smells in your room. And you can feel the ground beneath you once more. And on the next exhale, you slowly start wiggling your toes and your fingers. Bring some movement in your body, maybe some stretching, some bigger movements if that feels right. Just whatever your body needs to bring it back out of this space. Feeling like the last residues of this place, you're just dropping it away, it's leaving you. And on the next exhale, slowly open your eyes and gaze at something else than the screen first. That is very important. And just take in the room you're in, the colors and the forms. Maybe it's the same colors and forms you have connected with before. And notice, how do you feel right now? How do you feel in this moment with everything that you have seen, learned, journeyed through, with everything that you have encountered, with the wisdom that was bestowed upon you? And I let it be your choosing if you want to come back to the screen or if you just want to listen to my voice as I'm going to guide you out of this whole journey in the next couple of minutes. Sometimes it's important to listen to our body, and if we don't decide to go back to a screen after a beautiful journey like that, that's super, super valid and beautiful. I really invite you after this, when I close this video, that you take some moments to either note down what and write down what you have witnessed and what you have learned, or if you don't want to, you can even record your voice. It just makes the journey more present in the moment, because that we often forget very crucial things right away. If you want to, you can also just let it be and just trust that you will remember the most important things. And I really invite you to take care of yourself today. Be slow, slow in this transitioning out of a journey like this. If you can, and it's nighttime, then maybe go directly to sleep and let this journey guide you deeper, like the Blue Lotus that is still going to be in your space until tomorrow. Let it linger and let it guide you and just carry you like this soft, soft, soft blossom we fly on. And we are now and here at the end of our journey. You're more than welcome to write me any questions that you have that have come up in the chat if there is anything. And if you don't feel like writing anything or coming back to the screen, feel free to write me an email, write something in the comments, and I will respond to you. And I can highly recommend you to continue working with this plant, or just whatever plant calls you. Maybe it's a different plant. And if you desire a deeper connection with this plant, I offer one-on-one Blue Lotus sessions where we really go into this thing of like, how does the plant want to connect and how can I deeper journey with it? What is my way of working with this plant? And what are the deeper messages we can find? But otherwise, feel free, watch my space, follow me on the social media, come to and read my newsletter. But no matter what it is, we are connected in some ways. We all are as human beings, and I think that's very beautiful. And I think the plant world is a beautiful representation of that, as the plants are directly linked with all the animal elements. Usually they're directly linked to the earth, and in the earth they're connected with each other. And it's like our telephone lines. We're also connected with everything and everyone. We also have these antennas within us, around our whole body, the ability to connect with everything in our surrounding. Just let that linger, take that in, and really take care and have a beautiful, beautiful night, my dear.